So, welcome back. In this video, we'll be continuing the subject corporate compliance. In the last video, we were discussing about what is a compliance, corporate compliance, the definition of it, and the different compliances which we come across in day-to-day life. That is the overview of compliances in India, and we discussed about the importance. Now, we were discussing about the different types of compliances, and in this class we shall continue the types or forms of compliances. As you all seeing in this the video, the image, here we have different types of compliances as legal compliance, ethical compliance, employee training and awareness compliance, business continuity and regulation management compliance, and regulatory compliance, then data protection and privacy compliance, then third party compliance. Say for example, if we are working with the different types of data or the information from maybe the customers, public, definitely we are concerned with the privacy issue, that is the data protection. So in order to ensure that privacy, a certain compliance rules has to be set so that the confidence, you can give confidence to the customers or to the stakeholders. So in that regard, so what are the compliances that govern the data protection, or with respect to when we have some the integration or MOU with the third party, say for example for outsourcing or transportation, labeling, packaging, or any third party assistance. So what are the rules that govern, so when you are with third party assistance, like that. So some regulations, then employee training, or the laws governing the employee working conditions or employee services, like that. And again ethical compliances, suppose in case of any unethical practices issues you come across, so what are the compliances you have to follow, like that. So that we call as that different forms of compliances. And to continue with the importance of compliance in the business, as we all know, the importance lies with the compliance which very much ensures legal and ethical conduct, and compliance protects the business from legal and reputational risks, and compliance enhances transparency, then compliances improves management control, compliances ensures stakeholder confidence, like that. So these are something in general that we discuss as the compliance. And also compliances ensures legal and ethical conduct. So that means it is crucial to ensure that a business operates within the legal framework and industry standards, and it also ensures that a business upholds ethical standards. And the compliances also helps us to protect the business from legal and reputational risks. That is in case you fail to complete, as like the general the compliances, some say for example you take traffic rules regulations, in case you don't follow the traffic rule, like you don't wear the helmet, or you jump the signal, or you don't follow the traffic rules, like in no traffic zone, or no traffic what is that, the parking area, like that. So definitely you will be imposed some fines. So that awareness or education will be there to everyone, like that. In case of any loss or any the misconduct or the unfair treatment by the employer, so how no you can protect yourself. So for that we today we have the trade unions. So like that, if we take different domains, the compliances are there with us, and they such compliances enhances transparency, because compliance means some rule means it is for everyone. So compliances definitely improves management control, and also it is easy to like control the people with respect to various the acts. Say for example, here we have two company examples. One is Enron, a multinational energy company, collapsed due to non-compliance with accounting regulations. It was found that the company had manipulated its financial reports, which led to a loss of stakeholder compliance and ultimately the bankruptcy. So this is again how, so in case you don't follow the ethical practices, what happens? Sometimes you face a very serious issue that may damage your reputation itself. So like that, this is an example, and it is very much essential for any business to operate within the legal framework and industry standards. So this is about the importance. Otherwise, controlling and functioning on daily basis will be very difficult. Now coming to the next aspect, that is uses of corporate compliance. Compliance is a set of rules and good practices that ensure more security and efficiency for companies. Compliance is a very broad term which deals with business conduct that seeks to ensure processes that always comply with the legislation and the good markets practices. And also it is useful in bringing the credibility and trust to the stakeholders. And again, no, it is about the importance, as we know, in order to avoid criminal changes or the charges, improve public relations, which also helps to attract and keep the right talent and helps to reduce the unforced errors. Now, after understanding its importance and the types and the uses of corporate complaints, now let us try to understand what makes these complaints. So, what are the necessary elements of such complaints where which help you to design the complaints for a particular area? So that we call as the elements of compliance. So here mainly we will be discussing about 7 important elements of compliance. They are, the first one is implementing, then compliance officer, there must be a compliance officer. Third one is education, fourth one is responding, fifth one auditing, and sixth one communication, seventh one enforcing. Means here suppose a new policy has been framed, say for example with respect to the data protection and privacy, a new set of the rules regulations has been introduced in an organization. Say for example you take that, and where you set along with the existing some policies, you add two more to that. And suppose when you make some change, when you bring some change, definitely that need to be informed to everyone. So for that reason you try to educate, or you bring that awareness to everyone. So what is that change and why it is required, right? So that is again the important, the job that has to be done. So that is implementing and educating the people. So that again has to be brought to the notice of the compliance officer, maybe who is been appointed by the government or to the public. So that for all this we will be having certain the format, so that we have to follow. And once it is been educated, we have to respond to that, means we have to follow that. And on timely basis it will be evaluated. So means after reinforcing that change, so what is its effect, or what is the impact that has brought in the functioning of the organization, that you can evaluate, and that will be discussed. And again the remarks or the response of that will be discussed and communicated. And suppose it sounds to be good, or if it has brought a noticeable change in the organization, then definitely it will you will be enforcing that to everyone. So means this corporate compliance covers both internal policies and procedures as well as the federal and state laws. Enforcing compliance helps your company prevent and detect violations of rules, which protects your organization from fines and lawsuits. The compliance process should be ongoing, so that is usually we follow the leadership, risk assessment, standards and controls, training and communication, and oversight. Now coming to the next aspect, that is laws under corporate legislations. Here the study of corporate law concentrate on the legal and external subjects, that is mergers and acquisitions, and the internal and external interactions among stakeholders, then different bodies involved in transactions through company governance and industrial transactions. So here definitely an organization will be having certain compliances with respect to internal functioning, with respect to the external, in case of any the external transactions, import exports, no, so then any the affairs, no, so that you have in the international market, or any international the business you are carrying out. So like that, no, in order to have a fair practice, will be following all this. So in order to ensure a good practice, so in the autonomous bodies like SEBI, FEMA, then black money and imposition of tax act, Benami transactions, so that any kind of the fraud activities can be controlled through this, and SEZ act to encourage the entrepreneurship among the youths, and real estate regulation and development act, all these have been introduced to safeguard the corporate companies. So this is about the introduction to corporate compliance, where we understood about what is compliance, then the compliance related to a company, the overview, uses, then its importance mainly, then the laws under the corporate compliances, and how we can design this compliance. So that is possible through by using different elements of compliance. So here we have 7 different elements, so that also we have discussed. So this will give a complete overview of the corporate compliance in particular, and with this knowledge we will be discussing about the further topics like Companies Act of 1956, then the other acts, no, so that is included in this subject are the first and foremost is Companies Act of 1956 and Indian Contract Act of 1872, Consumer Protection Act. The act concerned to the contract, then Consumer Protection, Information Technology Act, Competition Act, Right to Information Act, then Women and Human Rights at Workplace Act, then the last one, Environment Protection Act. So these are the different compliances that we will be studying in this subject. Hope with this the basic understanding we can proceed to the next important concept or the act, that is Corporate Companies Act of 1956. So this is the first and foremost act introduced, later it was amended again for the first time, and again it was re-amended for the second time also, that we will be discussing in the future classes.